This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, everyone. Hobart's Jacob Despard has raced into the history books today, claiming Australia's oldest and richest short-distance race, the Stall Gift. With his family watching on, the 21-year-old became just the fourth Tasmanian to win it after years of trying.
Racing to etch his name into Australian athletics history, the young Tasmanian was leaving nothing to chance.
Rizzo and Despard trying to come at him. Despard's finishing too well. He runs over the top and claims glory in the gift.
I worked so hard the last 12 months to get here, and it's finally come together.
In his sixth consecutive crack at the race and featuring in only his second gift final, Despard was out to become just the fourth Tasmanian in history to claim the prestigious race, following Harry Rigby in 1909, Ken Hutton in 1941 and Andrew Robinson more than 70 years later in 2013.
My nan, my dad, my mum, they've all flown over for it, so put the pressure on early, but I've come through for them.
Having moved to Victoria last year to progress his training, Despard started favourite after setting the quickest semi-final time of 12.21 seconds before shifting up another gear from the 4.5 metre mark in the final to cross the line in 12.11.
Probably 2015 when I came second in my semi to Murray Goodwin. That kind of made me think, you know, I want to win this race.
The 21-year-old pocketing a cool $40,000 for his efforts.
I'll probably spend a bit of it having some fun, and then I guess I'll just put it in the bank, you know, keep it, maybe free up a bit of work for me so I don't have to work full time and try and take my athletics to that next level.
So much emotion. I'm so proud of him, so happy for him. He's worked so hard for this, and I knew he'd win it. I just knew it.
Tom Cooper, Southern Cross News.
Police are investigating a suspicious fire which destroyed part of a house in Clarendon Vale last night. Detectives say the property had been listed as sold only a week ago.
Investigators combed through the damage resulting from last night's fire. Neighbours reported seeing flames coming from the Rockingham Drive property just after 1 a.m.
It's been reported that it's suspicious this morning. We're still looking in investigating it at the moment.
The property was listed as sold just last Monday for $205,000. Now it sits in ruins with part of the roof collapsed. Detectives say it appears attempts were made to start fires in two separate locations, with a blaze in the kitchen taking off.
The main bedrooms are all structurally okay, but obviously the hottest part of the fire is where you can see the damage to the roof and the lounge and living areas of the house.
Police say the tenants, a woman and 3 children, are currently interstate, but the house had been hosting parties.
It has been the subject of locals having parties for approximately the last week and a half. So people have been frequenting the house, so we'd like to speak to those people as well.
As police investigate this suspicious fire, they're calling for information from the community. In particular, detectives want to hear from anyone who witnessed movements around midnight.
It looks like the fire's burnt for a little while, so we'd like, you know, from say midnight on, if anyone's seen anything around that time, through to 1 o'clock when it first got reported.
Information can be provided to Crime Stoppers anonymously. Michael Green, Southern Cross News.
The opposition is questioning the sale of several Housing Tasmania properties amid a housing crisis. 14 houses are listed on the Department of Human Services website. The locations including Hobart's Eastern Shore, the Northwest Coast and Georgetown. The government says they're high maintenance and in low demand areas, with the proceeds to be reinvested in new properties.
It's unusual practice for houses to be sold when we know there are so many families in Tasmania without housing who are really doing it tough at the moment and are in desperate need.
The properties are available for purchase under government assistance programs for current public housing tenants or people on low incomes. As the Easter long weekend wraps up, police are urging drivers to take care on the busy roads. As a result of Operation Crossroads, Tasmania Police says it's concerned with the number of drivers refusing to wear a seatbelt. Almost 13,000 random drug and alcohol tests have been carried out, with 575 people issued infringement notices. Heavy patrolling of the state's roads will continue statewide tomorrow. If you think you've seen a few more MGs on our roads across the state this long weekend, you're right. Around 200 of the English-made cars are in Tasmania for the 2018 MG Club's National Convention. The classic cars making a pit stop in Sheffield this morning.
Lined up and looking schmick. Around 100 MGs rolling into Sheffield this morning.
Beautiful.
Most owners have driven or freighted their pride and joy down from the mainland, some couples even coming from as far as Western Australia.
We were here 20 years ago and we thought we'd come back. Tasmania's a wonderful place.
It's just lots of fun to drive, and especially on a run like this when there's so many of you.
This beauty belongs to Victorian couple Lindley and Anthony Nimmo.
This one's a 1979 MGB, and they ceased production in 1980 when the company went broke. So it's one of the last of the Mohicans, so to speak.
But perhaps the MG capturing the most attention is this royal blue 1934 replica. It belongs to WA's Alan and Jeannie Hearing, with Alan spending many years making it look like this.
I do everything myself, so it's a very long project. This one's about 14 or 15 years in the making. Yeah, from a chassis and bits, and you know, I've used all the right bits, so it's all period stuff that's been used.
But don't expect it to be on the market anytime soon.
Oh, you have people ask you, but then you sort of bypass that question.
How much do you think you've spent on your car over the years?
Don't ask.
Like to say. Certainly not what it's worth.
The MG Club's national convention began on Good Friday and is being run out of Ulverston.
It's much sought after. There's a lot of competition who's got the best car.
The meet finishes up tomorrow, but many owners will continue touring Tassie's roads and countryside.
They're nice and windy. They're unusual for West Australians to drive on roads like this.
Yeah, absolutely perfect.
Tasmania is a wonderful place. It's almost like going back into time.
Monica Dadson at Southern Cross News.
A Tasmanian jet ski duo taking on rough seas to raise money for the Leukemia Foundation is almost halfway through an epic journey to circumnavigate the state. Dave Gray and John Beswick are 4 days into their ride, stopping in Beauty Point this afternoon. Their challenge was inspired by Pippa Harmy, who was diagnosed with leukemia 2 years ago.
Today we had mountainous seas from Weymouth to Beauty Point, but yeah, that's all part of it. But the cause, raising money for Leukemia Foundation, and to help families like Pippa and others like her, that keeps us going, there's no doubt about it.
The duo will now head to the West Coast. They hope to finish in Hobart later this week. To donate or follow the jet ski journey, visit the Ride for Pippa Facebook page. Cold winds and dark rain clouds haven't slowed down the 9 artists taking on 2018 International MeerleFest Challenge. Artists started painting their giant works at 9 o'clock yesterday morning and have until lunchtime Saturday to finish them. Damien Kazali is using Mother Nature as the central figure in his mural.
It's great taking the art out of the studio into the public and yeah, talking to everyone, getting their interpretation. The wind's been pretty interesting today. Hopefully that dies down a bit.
I'm amazed how much they've done in such a short time. And I do think that they're going to be a very nice lot this year.
The works are being created in Sheffield's Mural Park. Spectators are urged to vote for their favourite. Art and nature are merging with a special exhibition in National Park. A sculpture trail has been set up at Forest Secrets near Mount Field as part of a competition. The collection is designed to blend into the trail scenery with wood, metal and birds as major themes.
We would really love you to come along and see what fantastic work some of our sculptors have done. Most of our sculptors, in fact, don't have formal training in the arts, but they're all very passionate and very talented.
The exhibition is open every Sunday this month with a gold coin donation needed for entry.
As you may have heard earlier, Tasmanian sprinter Jacob Despard has become just the 4th Tasmanian in history to claim the prestigious Store gift, with the 21-year-old blitzing the field in today's final, crossing the line in a time of 12.11 seconds.
Probably 2015 when I came second in my semi to Murray Goodwin. That kind of made me think, I want to win this race.
Family watching on, Despard pocketed $40,000 for the win. The votes are in for the RACT Insurance Player of the Year in the TSL after round 1, with Tigers utility Marcus Davies earning the 3 points in his side's easy win over North Hobart. Bombers coach Taylor Whitford was named best on in North Launceston's 56-point win over crosstown rivals the Blues. And Troy Cunliffe impressed in his first game at TSL level as the Roos toppled Lauderdale. Supercar driver Will Davison will look to put last year's horror crash behind him when he returns to the Symmons Plains circuit for this weekend's Super Sprint. Attendance records are expected to be smashed, with more than 55,000 people predicted to turn out. Davison was one of 13 drivers caught up in last year's chaos, suffering a broken vertebrae after crashing head-on into the side of another car.
My memories from there are of Launceston Hospital and a pretty horrible hit. Certainly not a very nice situation, but doesn't taint my my thoughts about Symmons Plains.
With the crash taking him out of the second day of racing, the former Bathurst 1000 winner is keen to make an impression on the Symmons track, following 3 top 10 finishes during the opening 6 rounds of the championship.
It's a very short, sharp little lap, but all the corners are super challenging, super fun.
And competition will be fierce, with less than 50 points separating the top 4 drivers in the series, while organisers will be hoping for drier conditions than 2017 as they prepare for a crowd of more than 55,000 to line the circuit.
Certainly one of my favourite events. It's old school, just the history of Longford and being in that vicinity means a lot to me, and I love the circuit. I generally go really well there.
To soccer, and Taroona has begun its Lacka Seljack Cup campaign in emphatic fashion with the thumping of University. The home side had 3 goals on the board by half-time, with the day getting even worse for the visitors after the break, as Taroona slotted 4 more to record a 7-0 win.
Good evening. A westerly stream resulted in low cloud over most of Tasmania today, with some showers in the west and south. Launceston had the state's top temperature, reaching 22 degrees. It was 20 in Hobart and Devonport and 19 in Burnie. Temperatures were a few degrees above average today. St Helens and Friendly Beaches matched the high of 22. It was 20 at Maria Island, 19 at Smithton, 18 at Grove, Ouse and Strawn, 17 degrees on King Island and 11 at Lyowini. Looking to the sky, there's that low cloud covering most of the state, with some mountain wave patterns there. And zooming out, we can see the frontal cloud band that passed over Tasmania to the east of the state, with some open-celled low cloud behind it. And over the mainland, there are embedded thunderstorms over the Queensland and Western Australian coasts. Tomorrow, a high-pressure system moves across the Bight and over Tasmania, while surface troughs remain along the coast of Western Australia and the Northern Territory, and tropical cyclone Iris remains off the Queensland coast. To the coastal waters, west to northwesterly winds reaching 30 knots about the south, swells to 5 metres in the west. There is a gale warning current for southern coastal waters between Tasman Island and Low Rocky Point, and a strong wind warning for the remainder of the west coast. It's looking like a mostly sunny day for Hobart tomorrow, 22 the top, Adventure Bay 20 mostly sunny, Tarraleah 16. Sun for Launceston 23 degrees, Devonport mostly sunny, a top of 21, Bridport 20. Burnie partly cloudy, 19, showers for Strawn and Marrawar. St Helens and Swansea both sunny and 23 degrees, Whitemark 20. Looking ahead to later in the week now, Wednesday mostly fine apart from some showers about the west and far south. Thursday showers about the west, extending to most of the state by the afternoon and evening. And Friday showers about the east coast and the southwest of the state, with the chance of showers elsewhere. Further north tomorrow, showers for Brisbane, a possible storm for Darwin, a mostly sunny day for Perth. It'll be partly cloudy in Sydney and Adelaide, and a cloudy day for Melbourne. Looking at the current conditions around the state, right now in Hobart it's 16 and partly cloudy, Launceston 16 and clear, Devonport 15 and clear. And I've got so much Easter chocolate to get home to, Rach.
It's been good, hasn't it? Thank you for that, Brit. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. I'll be back later with updates. I'm Rachel Williams.